Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Yanis and I run a small embroidery business from my home called Percy's Angels. We've got 3 live embroidery events coming up in the next 2 weeks, so it's been a lot of prep lately, finding tables, creating embroidery menus, and testing everything to make sure it's event ready. It's definitely been a bit of a ride trying to pull everything together, but I am so excited to finally see it all come to life. In today's vlog, I'm taking you behind the scenes to show you how I've been getting ready for it all, from planning and packing to testing designs before the big days. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is our current situation right now. We have emptied where we usually have all our machines and all of our business stuff. This is where we usually work out of because I will be moving out soon. It is currently all in the garage. It's been a freaking mess and everything is just so cluttered because we're on one side of the garage since we have to park our car on the other side. So it's been very hectic and so hard to make orders right now, but we are powering through it day by day and getting used to the smaller space. But yeah, this is a really big living room and I never really realized that until everything kind of just left. We have our first event of September tomorrow and I've been doing a lot of prep throughout the week, but I think I finally finished it yesterday and we found a table that kind of works and is kind of portable for these sort of events. We are driving 2 hours out from Vancouver, so it is going to be a pretty long day. And the company is also giving us a free hotel stay for the night just because the event is from 6 to 10 p.m. and we just can't, I don't think we're going to have enough time to pack everything and drive. Otherwise, we're going to be probably coming home at like 4 a.m. So thank God for that. I'm going to show you what we have prepared. They shipped us several things. We had to embroider 80 backpacks before the event just so everyone is able to get that because we're unable to embroider 160 items on site within 4 to 5 hours. That's just not possible given the constraints of embroidery. I feel like a lot of people think that embroidery, you can like make it faster or something. We can only go so fast. I think the fastest I can go on the PR 680W is 80 stitches per minute, 800 stitches per minute, which is already quite fast. And I usually don't like to go any faster than that. Otherwise, it will just mess up the machine. Anyways, they sent us 80 backpacks. We just finished that yesterday. And then we also tested on these Storm Tech jackets that they sent us. We're going to be embroidering on the sleeve for them here, just their initials. But it looks quite nice actually on this fabric. I put F-150 because we're working with Ford and I just didn't know what else to put on there. I didn't want to put my own initials on there just if I wanted to give this jacket to someone else to wear because it's so nice and I can just donate it. It's brand new and it's an XL, so I can't fit into that anyways. But it looks really nice, so I am pretty happy with that. We also made this. This is just a embroidery menu. I bought this off of Amazon and it actually looks way more professional because I used to not have a menu and I would just ask guests like, oh, what do you want? Blah, 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 blah. And they would just have to come around the table and then look at the fonts on my machine. I just didn't think that it was that effective. So I decided to make a menu. And I feel like this will help just the efficiency and the whole process of the embroidery when I'm there. So yeah, they have 2 color choices and then 3 font choices, pretty standard, but I hope I can finish 80 jackets within the time frame because otherwise we will have to do it throughout the night, but I'm pretty hopeful. This is kind of our situation right now. We are situated in the garage. Look at the amount of mess that's in here. Like, there's no space to walk around and my machines are just sitting here. We even had to take up that space over there just to prepare for the event. So we have to park outside of the garage. But yeah, this is not ideal, but we are doing okay, I think. After quoting so many companies, I finally figured out a rate and a package that kind of works for me. We now charge for the first 2 hours a standard price, and then any additional hours on top of that is charged per hour at a little bit less per hour rate, if that makes sense, because we're already there, and I feel like the first 2 hours should be charged the most, just because we have to bring everything there, and the logistics behind the live embroidery is literally the worst part. Me being there and embroidering is completely fine. Like, I have a fun time. It's chill and lax usually when things don't go wrong. But the planning well beforehand, like the digitization, the menu, just making sure everything is good to embroider, that is what takes the longest. And our machine is really heavy. The Brother PR is a lot lighter now, but used to have to transport it, and it's really annoying. We have to get the table and everything. So the first 2 hours definitely is minimum for us, and if I charge any less, I wouldn't even consider going, just because it's a lot of work beforehand. And then any additional hours on top of the first 2 hours will be charged on an hourly basis, and it will be less. Just because I'm already there. So if they want me there for a couple more hours, then I don't mind slapping that on for a little bit lower of a price. We also have a full day rate, which is like kind of like an all-inclusive package up to 7 hours of embroidery. That would be a standard rate as well. So it depends on what the company needs. If they need us for 2 hours versus if they need us for the whole day. I feel like a lot of companies ask us whether or not we can only be there for 2 hours. Yes, but we wouldn't be there for any less. While I was putting together the embroidery menus and pricing for these upcoming events, I realized how much time I used to spend trying to make everything look clean and organized. Between managing embroidery events, talking to clients, and creating content, there's already so much on my plate, and designing layouts has never really been my thing, to be honest. That's actually why I started using Gamma. It's been a huge time saver for pulling everything together, from my event recaps and client notes to product photos and overall branding. I can drop everything in, and Gamma turns it into a simple professional layout that feels like Percy's Angels. Clean, personal, and on brand. It's made my life so much easier to create things like menus, rate sheets, and recap decks for clients without spending hours trying to format them. It keeps everything consistent and lets me showcase my past work in such a clean way. I can link each page directly to my website so clients can explore previous events I did or book their own right from the deck. Now I can actually focus on the fun stuff like creating new designs, prepping for events, and actually running my business instead of getting stuck behind a screen all day. If you want to give it a try for yourself, I've left a link in the description to check out Gamma for free. Thank you so much, Gamma, for sponsoring this video. We also recently picked up Durkee Easy frames as recommended from my embroidery bestie, Courtney, who I also met on YouTube. It has been a lifesaver for these events just because it's a lot easier for me to hoop on and off. If you guys cannot afford this, because this is pretty expensive. I mean, I spent 600 Canadian. I think in the States it's a little bit cheaper, of course. But if you guys can't afford this, there are other alternatives that you can find, like Maggie Frames. I have a discount code of 3% off down in the description. But they do have these types of easy frames. I think it's around $200-$300, but this has made my life a lot easier, especially if you are doing things like socks, just things that are hard to hoop, like makeup bags. You can just like slap it on and it's sticky. You use Filmoplast, and then you would just stick your item on here and then maybe clip the sides if you want the extra hold, and you just like slide it into the machine, and that's all you do. It's been helpful for me just because if I didn't have this, I would have to hoop every single shirt, and it's way too annoying. So it was a good investment on my end. Thank you, Courtney, for the recommendation if you're watching my video. But yeah, I think I'm pretty ready for tomorrow. I just need to take some rest today because it's going to be a long freaking day tomorrow. I took the day off from work just to go, and my partner did as well, just because it's going to be kind of a full day thing for us. As you can see, we were just playing around with the Durkee Easy Frame, and yeah, I found out that you can patch it up with more stabilizer on the top or the bottom. So we've been doing that, and it's been speeding up our process a lot. For example, for these hats, it's really hard to hoop the side just because it's really thick. With the Durkee frames, I could just stick it on and it'll just go on. This is another hat we tried to make in advance for our event next week. Just wanted to test it again. We always ask to test it beforehand because I am never doing that again where I just show up and embroider stuff that I have never embroidered on before. Made that mistake once and I'm never doing it again. But let me show you guys how I do this with the frame. So I have these little clips that I got from Amazon again. They just go around the side here. This is how I kind of set up the hat, and that's literally all you do, and you just line it up with the machine. But yeah, it is so easy as compared to me hooping it every single one, and I have to take off the hoop every single time. It's been such a busy few weeks getting ready for all of these live embroidery events. We've got actually a few lined up for the rest of the year. And honestly, I'm really grateful for it. These events are helping offset the slowdown we've had this year because of the US tariffs. As a small business, things like this hit really hard. When orders dip, you can't help but start worrying a bit and wonder if this is the right path you're taking. But I am so grateful that we're able to have these opportunities. Right now, we're packing up the Brother PR 680W for our next event. Every time we do one of these, we learn something new, like how to set up faster, manage our threads better, and even how to interact with people who are seeing embroidery done live for the first time, because this is a really rare thing that they encounter. It's a lot of work behind the scenes, organizing the supplies, testing materials, and even making sure everything fits in the car. But it's also really rewarding. I love seeing people's reactions when they pick up their finished pieces and realize it's made right in front of them. It's been a huge learning curve for us, but every event helps us grow, not just as a business, but also as creators. It is now the day after the event. It is now September 25th. We just finished last night at like 11:30 p.m. The event went from 6 to 11, which was kind of the allocated time that we had. Some things in the beginning weren't running too smoothly. I think we're definitely going to improve our process in the future. Every single event that we do, we kind of find things that we need to improve on, and we will improve it in the next event. So I've been jotting a lot of things down and writing putting down voice memos for myself to look back on in the future and make those changes, because we have another event next Wednesday. So we have definitely been taking notes on what went wrong, what went well, and what we can improve for the future. I think in the beginning we were a little bit overwhelmed because we were expecting 80 people, but so many people showed up at the same time. So it was a lot of putting down their name, checking them in, and making sure that they get a jacket by tomorrow morning. And we promised that we would get all the jackets ready by 7 a.m. today. So that was a little bit stressful because we were worried that maybe the machine will break down or we just couldn't finish it. But luckily we were able to finish it within the 5 hours, and we stayed behind for 30 minutes just to finish up everything and bring it all downstairs for them to distribute. I'd say overall it went really well, and I definitely do this again. And this is kind of our first experience kind of getting out of Vancouver. I would say we're in Whistler, so I mean, even though it's local, it's still a 2-hour drive out, so it's a little bit further from home, which is an awesome experience. We got to stay at the Fairmont, and the team that we were working with were super, super nice and appreciative of us bringing kind of their ideas to life. So that was super awesome. Since things weren't going so well, we, thank God, had backup hoops and we were able to finish everything. If we didn't bring that, we would have been quite literally screwed. I'm just not too familiar with the Durkee frames, and I feel like I kind of jumped the gun a little bit too quickly without testing it thoroughly with the sleeves, because the sleeves were really tight, and with a multi-needle machine you have to shove it inside the tubular arm, so it's a little bit difficult if the sizing is really small. So that's something that we completely just forgot about. But in the future, I'd need to do more testing on the Durkee frames. I mean, we were working with them for the backpacks that we embroidered for them, but I guess it was a little bit bigger, or the font was just a slightly bigger, and it just didn't work out for the sleeves. Definitely have to go back and take a look at what went wrong for that before our next event, since we're going to be using the frames again for the caps. We are going to our third and final event for, I think, the month. I hope, because I'm a little bit burnt out from doing 3 events within like the last 2 weeks. It's been a lot and kind of unexpected because this one came up last week, so it was a bit of a rush for us to get everything ready, but overall the things that we're doing aren't too bad, so I think it'll be okay. The guest number is only around 8 to 12 people, not 80, which is nice, so hopefully it goes well. We're currently transporting our machine. It's a little bit not secure, which is why one of the thread holders broke on while we were transporting it back home from Whistler, since it was a kind of a far and bumpy ride. But I guess this will have to do for now. We also got a new foldable table. We'll see how she works today, because all the other tables that we've gotten either have dented or it just wobbles way too much when we're embroidering. So we have to embroider at a really slow speed, which kind of affects our overall efficiency, which is not great. So hopefully this table works out for us. We even got a tablecloth to go over the table just to make it look a little bit more professional, because we haven't done that in the past. For this event, we are working with Subway Canada and the Raptors. I'm not sure, I think like they have some sort of collaboration, and they want us to embroider on the Raptors sweaters. I think it's an influencer event. I'm not too sure yet. I think we'll find out when we're there. But since it was so rushed, I feel like we didn't have enough time to have a call or like talk about more details. I definitely need to work on the process of how I do these events in the future, because I feel like the more I do, the more I realize what I'm missing and what I need to ask and what I need for the event. Like the last event, we didn't have any business cards. I didn't think that I would need any, to be honest, but a lot of agencies are actually there, so it's a good way to start networking and get more connections so we can build our portfolio. So that's definitely something I learned from the last one. We always learn something new, and we keep track of that just to improve our overall process for the future.